Hi y'all, it's Donnie. I am back. It's Sunday afternoon and I've decided this is the day I'm going to work on decorating this little cap. This is the hat I made in the previous tutorial for the Regency style hat, and I made it out of felt with a piece of cereal box just as a little bit of a stiffener there. I'm going to give it a shot using just this as my base and see how it turns out. I may end up not finishing the interior of it so that I can add, hopefully, a piece of what's it called? Buckram, B-U-C-K-R-A-M. It's a new word for me. It's a material I have never used before, but I need to order some. It's a hat base material, and it's a kind of like a netting that you can form to make a stiff base. And evidently hats have been made for many years with buckram. Never knew this. Never wore hats, so I just don't know these things. Never made a hat. So I'm learning as I go, and I hope y'all are, gonna have fun watching my attempts at doing this. I decided on a number of different materials, and I brought them all out and I've set them around me so that as I'm working on it, I can just have it handy. Hopefully I won't have to jump up and go grab it. I know that my videos are going to end before I know what time has lapsed, and so if it does, I apologize. I don't keep track of time when I'm down here. My idea on this one, my very favorite trim that I'm almost out of, I thought I'd use some of it and some lace, of course, maybe some trims and edgings. I thought this was kind of pretty. And for the base of my piece, I wanted to use this as a piece of wedding dress silky stuff. I don't know if it's real silk or if it's a fake silk or a what, but it does have some lovely little spots in it that make me think it's real silk. I love the way it glistens. I hope y'all can see that in the camera. It's a darker ivory. A number of the original laces that I have are going to look remarkable with it. And so that's why I've chosen this color and this piece. The first thing though that I want to do before I actually start the hat is to look at a few pieces of trim edging that I pulled out. I'm going to be going to it to decorate the hat. I have some of this ribbon that I found somewhere, probably on Etsy or eBay. It has a pretty little sheen to it, and so I thought about maybe draping some loops possibly of it. I want to use this gorgeous rose millinery piece that I got, these two as well. I started thinking, well, I hoard a whole lot of stuff, so let's, maybe use that on the hat with some pretty lace behind it or something. So I've got these pieces set aside. I told y'all I had also found some feathers I was wanting to use. They came in. This one is a beautiful tea dye color. And then this one with the swirls on it, isn't that just unique? Just so pretty. Real feathers. I never use feathers. So I have those to work with. And I wanted to start out, I thought because of these little flowers here, I was wanting to add a little bit of pink to the actual piece as I went along. And then I thought, well, no, I think the flowers will stand out better if I don't put pink on the hat and in the flowers that I add. But I do want to have the opportunity ready to use a pink flower to add along with this one. And so I had this little piece left that I had glued together of the stuff I use to make a lot of my flowers. I use a method that I will add the video link to it. It's a chiffon flower tutorial that was done by a girl who did not speak. It was music throughout the whole thing. And she sewed the base together here in a certain way. And I'll show you just real quick with this piece. I obviously glued mine. And very easily, all you do is turn the corner at the beginning and not let those two corners meet. Give it an inch or a half inch or whatever, and then bring down the edges and make them meet off of the, what, there's a word for it, but so that they don't equal out like this and meet where it would naturally meet. You want to do it off. Don't know what to call that. Anyway, as you do it, you'll have your piece bubble open, stay open. That's the whole idea, is just so that the edge up here will stay open some, you know, like this right here. This is a smaller piece than this. This one is rather wide. I was going to use it for something different, but this one was a smaller one, probably about 2 or 2.5 inches is this one. And then fold it over. When I do these little flowers, I usually close off this end here. And I happen to be using a net. It's not chiffon, I don't think. If it is, I'm not sure. I wish I was a seamstress. I would have learned so many things along the way. It's a real fine, it's a light pink. It's kind of like a netting. If this is chiffon, I'm not aware of it, but it's a possibility. So anyway, going along with that, I'll show you how to start it real quick, and then you'll have the idea. I usually just kind of roll that first part into itself again, and then start the roll around that base so that this flower will have a center on it. And give it just a little bit of glue at the bottom. I have a round circle of felt ready to go, because you put a dab of glue down in the center of that and set the center of the flower on that little glob of glue. And I've learned from doing lots and lots of these little flowers that time is of the essence. Now I'm just going to make a little one because I just want something that'll tuck around the larger flower with a hint of pink on it. And so that's what I'm basically trying to get done real quick. Real quick, and I said time is of the essence. Yeah. I say one thing and mean another, but I really don't. When I do these, I try to, should have said that the glued part of this is what's going to be going down, and where the fold was up here is going to be the top of your petals. The fold is the part that makes the petal. The bottom part you're not going to see. It's going to be attached to the felt. So when you're doing it, the whole idea is to add as much material down at the bottom as you can. In fact, I even fold over sometimes and just really jam that glued edge down in there, so that as I make the curve, and yes, I know I'm not gluing it right now, I will have a lot of the material that has been folded over on the top, so that I can get an effect sort of like that. Okay, so I'll probably finish this one off camera, but I wanted you to see the process. Somebody had asked me a long time ago how I made my flowers. That's how I do it. I glue this edge together, and I have always glued. I don't think I ever tried this with sewing a thing down here to do that with, and then gathering it. That might be a whole lot easier if I had the right type of needle, which I just bought actually. So a doll needle. I just got some doll needles off of Etsy, I think it was. So I'm going to try that method and see if that works better than using a strip of glue down there. But it was really easy to glue, and it went pretty quick. It's enjoyable to sit and make flowers on a rainy day like it is here today. But you can get the effect as I twirl this around and kind of show you. And that's about the size flower I'm wanting so that I can tuck it next to the others. So I may make a few of those with this and add that. Now, I'm going to set all this aside. And I want to look at this little base here. The base of my hat it's not a proper size hat. Let's say a person probably could not wear this. It's a little small of full size, you know. I would imagine a hat like this should have been a lot larger. So this is really just for decoration. I don't make hats for wearing or anything like that. I've never made a hat. This is my first one. And I'm just doing it for fun. I want to see what I can do. And I'd like to look up on the internet and see if I can't find some ideas on how I'm really supposed to be doing things like this. This is just my way. So I'm going to set this aside for now. And now I'm going to concentrate on this little piece right here. Again, this is from a wedding dress. It's this gorgeous, gorgeous color. I just love this. And it has a nice little texture to it too. But my favorite part of the whole thing is just the sheen, that glowy candlelight color. I don't know. It's just gorgeous. As I was playing with it and all, I wanted to manipulate this in such a way that I could cover the brim and the top of the cap here with a manipulated piece, maybe of ruffles or of these things, gathers. Y'all, my brain. And if I do it like that all the way across, I think it's going to make a really fabulous looking base. So that's what I'm going to do. I was thinking about cutting that edge off, but I'm not going to now. So I'm going to just start and look and use glue. I'm not sewing, y'all. I don't want to sew. I don't want to have issues with sewing. I'm going to fold this over first on one side. Oh, that's got a lot of it's so thin that glue went right through it. Well, I think what I'm going to do is just kind of start on one edge. And I'm not going to be perfect. I don't intend it to be perfect. But I'm going to put little tiny pieces of or bits of glue and fold it over on itself on what I'm calling the front side, which is the top here that I'm working on. And then back behind it, I'm going to add another little drop of glue and fold it again so that I can make this little gather here. I probably am going to have to do this side as well. And just a little tiny piece of glue right there, a little bit. Let me fold this side over a little. I was telling my husband that I was going to be down here trying to make a hat on video, and that he may hear me laugh at myself and stuff. Tap that down, get me at least that edge started. So, y'all, you know, as we do stuff, we laugh at ourselves, I hope. I'm not sure how I'm going to actually get this started. I think once I get it started, the rest of it will probably work just fine. Maybe I need to go there with it. I want to leave everything in the middle loose because ultimately I'm going to bend it over the brim so that half of it's on the top of the brim and half of it's on the bottom of the brim. This edge right here is probably going to be too short, but I'm just going to keep going. I think what I'll do is I'll go ahead and do one whole side, and then I'll come back and do the other side. And then that way, I actually can hold it up where I can see what I'm doing. And other than, is that too wide? Maybe I should go a little narrower. I seem to have enough fabric to do it with. I don't know if y'all want or look at Pinterest very often. I do all the time. If I'm not down here, I'm probably upstairs sitting in my chair. Right now the Olympics have been on. My husband is an avid Olympic watcher. Every 2 years. Every 2 years we have to watch the Olympics, which is fine by me. I love the gymnastics. But the gymnastics is about all I'm interested in. He loves track and field, so there's sometimes a holler now and then. Last night he scared me to death when one of the Americans won the gold medal for some track and field event, and he'd been just following it and watching all the heats for it and everything, and I'm like, oh, you scared me when you hollered. He was way upstairs. So anyway, he gets quite excited about that. And I enjoy knowing that our American teams are doing well. I have thoroughly enjoyed watching the gymnastics. I am easily entertained by people jumping in the air, evidently, and swirling around. When I was a kid, y'all, I'm 52, and so when I was a kid a lot of years ago, Nadia Comaneci was y'all remember that at the end of her routine when she did that? Yeah, I'm that old. And Nadia was our idol, my sister and I. And so, of course, we went jumping around the house. Mom even, at one point, allowed us to take gymnastics. And I think we did that for a whole, one session. I actually got to where I could actually do a splits, woohoo, and a back walkover. That was big for me. But then we would spend time outside in the grass just doing cartwheels and back bends and trying to do little flips and stuff, which, we landed on our head a few times. And then I would spot my sister. She wanted to do an aerial so bad. And I spotted her until my arms hurt doing aerial. She almost did it. Last second, she'd throw her hands down, and it's like, oh, you almost got it. You almost did it. That's what us kids did back then. We played out in the yard a lot. Okay, I'm going to stop because I got to find out if this is too narrow a fold or if I need to make them wider. That first piece isn't going to matter anyway, so let's come over here. I wonder if it'd be simpler for me to do it on the project as I did it instead of trying to do it here first. And if I really cared enough about it, I would get my sewing machine out and work on the sewing machine and try to get it just right, but that's not what I'm intending to do here. I really just want it to kind of do the folds and just kind of have fun doing a project. Did that one, so I'm going to do the second one. Oh, yeah, if I just kind of fold it like that. I don't think it's going to matter if I have this perfect, because as I do the fold around the brim of the hat, I think it's just going to kind of fold itself where it's wanting to go anyway. And that's the whole idea. I want to see this do a, I don't know, like it's an aged effect or something. I want it to look like it was made a lot of years ago. When I look at Pinterest, that's probably, you know, I got off topic or something a minute ago. I know I mentioned Pinterest. But the ideas of some of the hats that I've seen have come from an auction site that has photos on it that have been pinned to Pinterest. And one of the photos for one of the hats that has sold already, darn it, which is just as well because there's no way I could have afforded it. But it was the most scrumptious, they called it a confection. Hats were called confections. It's kind of like a dessert for the head. And that was the prettiest thing I've ever seen. I understand now why Lucille Ball on the I Love Lucy's show, when Lucy, what is this? And she'd bought another hat, and oh yeah, I understand now. If I had seen that hat and it had been for sale, I may have sold something major just to get that hat. So, and since it was so beautiful, I'm just going to have to make one myself that reminds me of it. There's no way it's going to look like it. Okay, what did I do right there? Let me show you the effect I'm trying to get. And then maybe you'll understand a little better kind of where my thoughts are on this. I want to take this piece of fabric. Part of this, of course, is going to be folded under. Part of it's just not going to matter because I'm going to, you know, cut it away or cover those raw edges. But I want to come around this brim and manipulate this fabric so that, and I'm hoping I can show it to you. Might need to pull it tighter. I don't know. Are y'all getting the idea? A little bit, maybe. Some of your comments have left me laughing because you say, oh, I was telling you this, or I was trying to get you to hear me say that. And I'm like, I know, I wish I could hear you. There's probably a better way to do this. And maybe I should do it while it's on the hat. But anyway, this is my idea. Coming across here, all the way around this brim, doing this effect here. All the way around. And so when I have all of these little ruffles, folds, whatever you want to call these, it'll be not only on the front, but on the back of the visor, the underside. And I'm really loving the way that's looking. So as I come along and do a little bit at a time, I'll be able to attach it. And then on the raw edges here, I'm not going to worry about those because I'm going to cover it. And with all of the other pieces and stuff that I have. So this is kind of, I'm excited, y'all, because I think I'm actually going to get it to look kind of how I wanted it to look. So I'm going to stop the video right here. I'm going to work on this part. I'm going to finish my little flowers that I started, and then I'll come back and I'll show you the next part that I'm working on. And we're just going to build it a bit at a time.